did make a video the other day, but there are some questions that I didn't really get to answer, and not only that, but there are also things that I didn't really specifically get to talk to anyone about, being like how I discovered I was trans, what's it like for me type deal. Also, I figured I'd give a voice update just because, like, I don't think that many people know what I sound like before this point because this is only my second video. So I will play a clip of the day that I got my first shot, which was September 8th. um, and then, so this is what I sound like now. I do get my injection today, but I haven't gone to get it yet because I am waiting for my boyfriend to currently get off work. Um, I guess some of the things that I wanted to talk about were how I figured out that I was trans and like what got me to the point that I'm at today. And if I've told my family, what are their views on it, type deal. Like I did discuss that they don't support it, but I've also didn't really get into why, or like because I haven't really come out to them either. So I guess one of the first things that I wanted to talk about was for me is like how I figured out that I was trans. It took me a really long time to come to that conclusion just because like when I was growing up, I really loved being in dresses. I loved, like, absolutely loved wearing makeup. My mom would do my eyebrows, and like, I don't talk to anyone and drives me crazy because I will never get my eyebrows to the way that she perfected them to. Like, my mom just like loved getting me ready for picture day. She loved getting me ready for prom. I remember my eighth grade graduation. She made me look like Jasmine from Aladdin, and like, I can't even just. I was so happy, and I wasn't happy with my body, and I had never been that way. But I also thought that it was so weird because I was just like, wow, why do I love this, but I don't feel comfortable with my body? I remember this one time I got in trouble because I shaved my down from my like down there, and like my mom was so mad at me, but I was just trying to get rid of it. Like I didn't understand. Like it wasn't so much the hair; it was just so much like I didn't fucking want it, and like even my boobs, like boobs weren't really like a huge dysphoria for me. Like my nipple length and size is just because like they're super, super fucking girly, but I was fortunate enough to have little boobs. Like I still have A cups, and like so that I don't really get bothered by that anymore. But I just like I hated my body. I always envied that my brothers like were just like these super little tough little boys, but then they just got to do whatever they wanted to do and get dirty and get rough and play, and like I could never do any of that. Growing up in Hispanic culture, like I always had to do everything that my brothers, didn't do. I had to clean the room. I had to fold their laundry. I had to do all of that stuff. So I never really got to have fun. And I mean, granted, I was a terrible kid. I mean, and I don't know why. I lied about a lot of stuff, and I like I really don't know why. I thought someone was here, so I kind of got freaked out. Anyways, I just was never happy, like being who I was. Like I enjoyed the fact that I was somewhat feminine, but at the same time, like I didn't get to be like. You guys know who that Brendan? I think his name is Brendan Jordan. Brendan Jordan. If I'm saying it wrong, oh gosh, I'm so sorry. Um, he he did that applause Lady Gaga choreography, I believe, in a newscast. I wasn't really sure how he did that, but he is phenomenal. Like I follow him, and I feel like my childhood was robbed for me because if I got to be like the perfect boy that I wanted to be, like growing up as a child, I would be him. Like he is spectacular. He is loud. I'm gay. I'm proud. Let me throw on some stilettos. His heels, like I can walk in heels, but yet I don't because I'm so feminine already that I feel like I'm almost just trapped in another closet, and it's so upsetting because like I just want to wake up one day and throw on a pair of heels and like go walking into town with some booty shorts and like I don't even like I have this image of who I want to be and who I know I am, but it's so difficult to get to that point because I'm not as far in my transition as I'd like to be. But I am also growing to be patient because I wouldn't be here right now if it really wasn't for my boyfriend. And then there's Sav. I don't know if you follow him on Instagram, but he was youngster Sav. I remember in the first 6 months of my relationship, I like fell really big into insecurities because my boyfriend wasn't really understanding of what it meant to be trans, but he himself was trans. He just didn't know how to go about it. And like I had been off of testosterone, and it turns out I wasn't even on testosterone. I was to the point where I was injecting myself with steroids because I wanted to transition. This is what I wanted for myself. And when I went to my endo just looked at me, who I go to now, and was just like, no, that's a steroid. Like, you were never on testosterone. And it almost explains like my depression at one point because like I was super depressed with AJ. I didn't want to do anything. I got super fat, like, and so it all like made sense and everything like that. But in that time, I met him, and like I would explain him to things, and he would just look at me, and I'm like, I would feel like such a girl because I would wear eyeliner and love how I would look, but I would just be like, I don't understand this. And he would look at me and he'd be like, you're just a little gay boy. Like, you're just a boy. And like, it took me years to just understand and get that. But for so long, that's all I wanted. And it's like, he helped me so much with like just, like step outside, what everyone thinks and views you as. You're a faggot. And like, I'm sorry if that offends people. Like, I don't mean it to. It's just like, I'm gay, I'm very okay with admitting that I'm flamboyant and like I like Party Monster, like all those characters, like James St. James, that minus the drugs because no. But I mean, like the glamour, the throwing the glitter on, the wearing heels. Like I want to be a drag queen so badly, and even growing up, as I've mentioned, like I had no issue being in dresses. Like I was like yes, and now it's almost hard because it's just like I'm not there yet. So like as my voice gets deeper, I do at the same time get scared because like I don't want to be very masculine, very macho type deal. I mean, when I first came out as trans, I mean, I say that it's been 5 or 6 years, and it has, but it's only been to select people. When I put my foot down and was like, okay, I'm trans, it's been like 3 years. Because when I lived in Chicago, how I came out was probably shitty. I mean, I just changed my Facebook thing. I changed it from male to female to male. And then like I just like I would get questions from people, and I really wouldn't know what to say to them because I myself couldn't figure it out. Even growing up in a place like Chicago, I knew a bunch of very gender fluid queers. I knew this whole thing is bugging me. I can see my reflection, and it's just driving me crazy. But I knew a lot of very gender fluid people. I knew people who had identified as a gender, third gender type deal. But like I never had anyone sit down with me and was just like, "There's nothing wrong with you." Every therapist that I went to was just like, "You're gender like you're a hypocrite. You make no sense." And it's just like for the longest time I had to live with hearing that and believing that, and now it's almost as if that's not true. Now I do get a lot of shit for having a boyfriend for being trans because I identified as a lesbian, but I'm gonna be real with you. Even when I was a lesbian, I was getting dick on the low. What do you want from me? Like, I was very confused, very conflicted. I loved being with women, and it's not the fact that like that I was just attracted to dick. I was attracted to the genitalia of a male. Let me rephrase that so this way I'm not being super vulgar. But like, as for a man and having a beard and everything, I envied that. But I had no problem with having intercourse with men. And it's just like people would be like, "That's so gross." I would get judged, and it's like even now, like I get judged so much by the LGBT community that it's not funny. Like I get judged by them more than I get judged by heterosexual community or whatever. And it's like, can we not? Can we just understand each other and just be like, not be the ones judging, but be the ones helping each other. Because it's like, if a person who, like, if my Christian friend who knows that everything that I'm doing is wrong according to them and their religion can look at me and have the respect to call me a man and use male pronouns and call me Drake and all that, why is it that all of these people who don't believe in religion and are so against Christians and everything like that are sitting there and looking at me and they're like, wow, really? Like you sucked a dick and called yourself a lesbian, like you did this, like could I not have just been confused? Could I not have just been figuring myself out? And truthfully, like I never went around like, oh my god, I'm this power lesbian, let me judge everyone. Like no, and I mean I never bragged about getting dick either. That was something that I did in my own private personal time. And for me, it's not like I enjoyed it either because when I was having these sexual relations with these men, it's not that they were looking at me and being like, oh, look at this beautiful man I'm making love to. No, they're like, look at this girl. And it's like, even then it wasn't enjoyable. So it's like, I was so confused. So now it's like, I know exactly what I want. It's like, I'm super confident now. And then with getting my injections, like, my sex drive is through the roof, but it's just like, I'm very, very pleased. And it helps that I do have someone that I care about, obviously. But it's just like, now everything just makes sense. But it sucks that it's took me so long because even now I'm still afraid, not necessarily what society thinks of me. I'm still afraid of like me. Like I am always gonna ask myself, like, am I ever gonna get to the point where I'm gonna be satisfied? Am I gonna be able to wear, a pair of heels and hope that people don't call me a girl? Because I'm only at 10 weeks right now, and like I know that in time, like eventually my changes will be a little bit more obvious, but like I just don't want, like, I'm Puerto Rican. I really don't see me getting like a beard on this face. So it's like I am almost just questioning if, having a deep voice is going to be the only thing, and like having top surgery, is that going to be the only thing that carries me out and makes me content being this flamboyant gay guy? Because that's all I want to be. Like, that's all I am. That's what I see myself. And it frustrates me and it makes me want to cry because I've never felt so trapped in my entire life, like in any situation. Like, and I know that I'm not the only one out there. So it makes me happy that when I first came out around, 20 to 22, like people would look at me and be weird and just like not understand it and just be like, you're a hypocrite. And now people look at me and they get it and they're right there with me. Like I know so many fine queer like trans men who are just like, yes, you're so handsome. I'm like, I totally, want to see you perform in drag queen and be Beyonce one day because that's my goal. Like, I don't want to be Beyonce because you just can't. But like I would love to be a drag queen and like almost make a name for myself and like just be proud of that. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Like I guess that's kind of all I have to say because my voice is starting to get really dry. But it's like I'm very happy. I'm very proud. I'm only 10 weeks, so like I know that there are going to be several changes to come. But like that's where I'm at right now. I yeah. If I need to add more, I suppose I could make another video. But I guess like I just really wanted to talk about like the ages that I came out, how my family handles it. I guess if like anyone has other questions, I guess you can ask me. If you are following me on any social media network, it would probably only be Instagram because that's all I have, and that's queertacoz. So yeah. But thank you. Okay. Bye.